When I tell people what I do for a living, selling music online, the first question they usually have for me is, and do you make good income? My usual answer will be, yeah, I do pretty good for myself. What they don't know is that in the back of my mind, all I'm doing is screaming, hell yeah, fool! I'm doing like 2-3 times your yearly income. So why am I telling you this? But it might seem like I'm flexing right now. But really, what I'm trying to convey to you is the message that a career in music is absolutely possible. And if you build your beat selling business the right way, it can actually be extremely lucrative. So today we're going to be looking at 10 things you need to know before you get started building your beat selling business or your career as a full-time musician slash artist slash beat maker. Number one, what is your why? Starting a business, any business, must be a labor of passion. You have to be loving that thing, that passion, even if it brings in $0. But how do you find that thing exactly? The way I have found my why is by doing an exercise one of my mentors had me do in a masterclass that I purchased online. And the exercise was named the 100 Whys. And the goal of the exercise is to start by asking the question, why do I want to become a full-time music producer? And then the idea is to answer as many times over as possible, trying to come down to the most simple, purest expression of the motivation behind this answer. So let me give you an example. So why do I want to become a professional music producer? Well, for one, this is what I like to do most, making beats. So, and then, why do you like making beats? Well, because time flies and I really feel like I'm alive when I'm making music. And so why do you want time to fly? Well, because I really feel like that's the best way to spend my days, ending them on a positive note, being happy, this and that. And you get the idea, and you try to narrow it down to its purest answer. And for me, that answer was freedom. I used to hate 9-to-5s, not because the jobs per se were painful, but more because of the fact that I was not a master of how and when I did what I did. And really, at the end of the day, it's this idea of not being a master of my own ship and master of my time, and even master of where the business was going, did not motivate me. It was actually very painful for me mentally, and it drained my physical energy as well. So it was a dead-end situation for me. So do the 100 Whys and really try to do it as thoroughly as possible. And at the end of the day, once you find that answer, this is all you need to get going on this path of becoming a professional musician. Number two, originality is overrated. So you will hear this a lot from professional music producers and A&R, where they'll tell you, well, if you want to make it in this industry, you have to have your own sound, you have to be original. Listen, I have been producing music for over 20 years now, professionally, and I can tell you for a fact, I don't have my own sound. Making money from stock music is not about having your own sound as much as it is about being able to be versatile and replicate many different sounds. The idea is to incorporate all of these little flavors in something that will cater to as many buyers as possible, taking a little bit of corporate, a little bit of electronic, and making this package mainstream. Originality, therefore, is not about creating something anybody and everybody never heard before, as it is about combining, as I've said in previous videos, two things that never really been combined in the way that you will combine them. That's a lot of combining, I know. So with that being said, it's a lot easier and a lot less stressful, because when you get started on the keys or on the computer, you need to be in that flow state. And if you're stressed out and thinking, I can't find my sound, I can't be original, it's gonna hinder the process. Number 3, you should learn an instrument. So I was listening to this talk Pharrell Williams of the Neptunes gave to these students in some music school, and at the very end, the teacher asked him, well, what would be the one piece of advice you could give to my students to make music as a career? And he said, you need to learn an instrument. And that really stuck with me and resonated with me, because at the time, I was seeing all these new producers with these very unconventional styles, you know, the Neptunes for one, Timbaland and all that. And I had more of a classic background, having learned the piano, and I was, you know, kind of challenged by the fact that my approach was very music theory driven, and I was wishing somehow that I would unlearn some of the stuff that I had learned when I took piano lessons. So at the end of the day, I think that learning an instrument is a great way to make your mind think about music in a different way than if you were just to use MIDI files or, you know, enter chords and melodies using the mouse on your computer or the trackpad. I know people don't use mouses anymore. I'm old school. So what I'm trying to say is give yourself the best chance by learning different ways to bring this music to life. And learning an instrument is absolutely crucial, as getting connected physically to the music you hear is a divine experience. Number 4, improve your musical knowledge. So we've talked about learning an instrument, but learning music theory is absolutely crucial and necessary if you want to learn an instrument. Again, you don't need to go to college or learn music in a conservatory, but you should at least keep in mind that knowing the basics of music theory gives you more tools to create music that customers will gravitate towards. So here are 6 reasons why you should learn music theory. It will unlock new aspects of your creativity. It will help you understand why some things just work musically speaking. It will help you communicate the right musical idea. 4, it helps you become faster, therefore more profitable in your business. 5, it will help you improve your chord progressions and melodies. And 6, it's a great way to counter writer's block. Number 5, increase your technical abilities. In my line of work, time is of the essence. You need to know your DAW, your DAW, inside and out, and really be able to create music very rapidly so that you don't lose this spark of genius. So the first step to speed up your workflow is by using the following: keyboard shortcuts, using song templates when you get started in a session, mixing templates, mastering templates, and finally having your synthesizer and sampler presets organized and ready to be loaded up very quickly. Once you have your templates down, the next logical step is to have better knowledge of mixing and mastering. Obviously, nowadays we are asked to provide final sounding ideas. You cannot just send A&Rs or music libraries demos as they won't see the potential anymore. They are asking for the final finished product. So because of that state of affairs, I invite you to set aside time each week where you only focus on mixing and mastering your tracks. Obviously, I personally don't master my tracks, but I do know the basics of mastering, as it helps me understand what's wrong with my mixes. So with that being said, I invite you to put together your templates to speed up your workflow and keep improving them as you learn more and more about how you are most comfortable working. Once you know exactly how you work, you can then tweak your templates to fit that way of working. Number 6, build your portfolio. To submit music to music marketplaces, you will need a portfolio of solid tracks. This portfolio needs to highlight your unique musical gift. So what I suggest to most music composers is to develop what I call a niche, something that plays to your strengths and hides your weaknesses in a way that your music sounds very, very professional and that is also easy for you to create on a daily and weekly basis. So what are you good at? If you're good with electronic music or EDM, try to use what you've learned from sound design and from the structure of such songs and incorporate them, these elements, to a more traditional pop and corporate envelope. And that way you can really bring the best of both worlds in a unique combination that sets you apart. That way you position yourself in your own little space while making sure that you reach as broad an audience as you possibly can. Next, you need ways to rapidly be able to share your work. So you will always want to have ready at hand high resolution MP3 files, obviously the high definition WAV files, and even the same songs but uploaded to a streaming service such as SoundCloud. That way, as soon as you get in contact with the library and they ask for either, a streaming link or some MP3 files, you're ready, you have these songs on your desktop, and you can rapidly, send these demos out and get the ball rolling to build these connections with the libraries. Lastly, I want you to prepare yourself a professional email script for contacting these music marketplaces and libraries. So you want to convey, positivity, enthusiasm, energy, positive energy, and that way, as soon as they hear your songs and they see that you're driven, you have a much better chance of getting on their roster. So with all of these tools, you make the submission process efficient, professional, and effortless. Number 7, you don't need anyone else. A common misconception music producers seem to have is that to get to that next level, they will need other people to do the following: marketing, sales, management, sign contracts, etc., etc. And usually they will think that to become really a star, they need a manager. Let me tell you right now, you don't need a manager. And as the saying goes, you are never served better than by yourself. So in the beginning of your career, you should strive to learn everything there is to know about your career. As I've mentioned above, the sales, the marketing, signing contracts, all of that you can pretty much know just enough to get by. All of this has an impact on your success. Therefore, you want to stay in the know and in control. So you want to know how to read contracts, how to create strong business connections, and you want to learn how to sell your talent. Number 8, network and collaborate. Once you get the ball rolling, the best way to take your career to that next level is to surround yourself with more talented and more knowledgeable people than yourself. Now, I know I said in the beginning you need to be that one-person army, and that is true because you won't have necessarily the resources and the money to bring other people on board. But once you build momentum, then you need to re-explore this concept. So find new sales partners, probably libraries at the beginning. Collaborate with other producers or musicians. This will bring much more richness and variety to your catalog. And then, as I've stated before in previous videos, you can collaborate with other artistic creators such as photographers, videographers, graphic designers, web developers. So again, you should start on your own, build momentum, and then try to put together a team. That way, the value you bring to other creators just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And side note, adding value to other people is the best way to be yourself the best business partner you can possibly become. Number 9, understanding the legal side of your business. Another side of your business where you'll need help is the copyright management and the legal side of things. You will need to read, understand, and sign contracts. So my question is, do you know a lawyer, maybe some family member of yours, or a friend that's just finished the bar and ready to help you with these documents? If that's the case, find a way to trade services with them. With that being said, you should still always be able to read and understand the contracts you will be signing. I know, these documents are very intimidating at first, but you will become used to them. And at some point, you will understand this lawyer gibberish. Since they dictate the direction of your future, it is of paramount importance that you read them and have them proofread by a lawyer. If you don't have someone in your close circle, there are also some organizations that will help you with this side of the business. There are professional organizations you can become a member of for a very small fee, and usually they'll have people on board that can help you read and understand the contracts. Number 10, compete only with yourself. My last point concerns how you will judge your progress and your achievements, your position on the totem pole. It's very easy to compare yourself with veterans of the game and become discouraged even before the race has actually started. I have done this throughout my career, and it's just so detrimental to your energy and focus. So my piece of advice is always compare yourself to your old self. So listen, that's all I had for you guys today. If you found this of value, share the video on social media. Subscribe to my channel if you like these talks about how to make it in this game. And also follow me on Instagram at Delicate Beats. I've also started to invite you guys to subscribe to the early bird waiting list if you want to learn more about these topics and how to build your music career, how to become a full-time music producer selling your music online. The title of the course is The Bedroom Super Producer Masterclass. I will only be able to work with a limited number of music producers, so I want you to reserve your spot by joining the early bird gang. So there will be a link in the description below, and so click on that link, enter your name and email, and make sure you're part of the early bird gang if you want to reserve your spot in the masterclass. Also, I'll be telling you when the masterclass opens, and the early bird gang will actually get this notice in advance to make sure that they have their spot reserved in the masterclass. So if that's something that interests you, click on the link below, and I'll see you in the next video.